Alright, so we're back under here. Let me turn the light so you all can kind of see what's happening. Alright, so I'm going to put the exhaust back up and we're going to test fit this mount. The first thing I'm going to do though is we're going to slide this bolt into this hole over here. Which, let me get you all moved so you can see what we're doing. Alright, you can kind of see that hole there. Right there, that's where we're going to be putting our bolt and our nut to go down to our exhaust mount. So the first things we're going to do is I have a lock washer and a nut, and I've already got these bolts covered in blue Loctite. I don't know if you all can tell because this thing don't like zooming. So I have Loctite on both ends, and what the goal is here, we're just going to get the nut up there, we're going to get it threaded on, or at least started. Man, I'm just not having a good time here. Alright, let's tighten that. Alright, we're going to get it started and threaded on. And then, we're going to get our exhaust put up there. And we're going to start getting the mount lined up. And we're going to see if that does it for us. Alright, with the Loctite being on there, I'm going to take it, I don't know, at least a good 6 to 7 threads. Which means I just got it on there a decent amount. I probably threaded it about 1/2 inch exposed on the other side of that nut. Good gravy. Alright, now that I finally got the phone to stay put, goodness. I'll raise this up here, and we're going to see if we got enough of that all thread to get this mount where we want. But first things first, I got to get the exhaust slid into place, which is easier said than done. Last time I had a guy helping, because this exhaust really is a tight fit. It's hard to get on. Alright, so anyways, as we can see, it looks like we have just enough to do this. And it's going to do what I wanted, which is pull the exhaust backwards and keep it tight. So I guess next thing we're going to do is I kind of wish we had a different mount location or a different hole to put this in. A little further to the side of the truck. Yeah, look at all that rust. Good Lord. That's an old heat shield, it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and break that off. Man, that's a heat shield from the factory exhaust. See, there's another hole here that if I mount the hanger on the opposing side, nope, because that's not hollow, it's solid. So it looks like our only option is going to be right here. And we're just going to have to hope we can get it all pulled back tight enough that it does what I'm wanting it to do, which is keep it off of the exhaust and keep the exhaust tight and from flapping around, because there's another mount on up towards the front of the truck. But that mount doesn't do a very good job of keeping the exhaust secure, which the exhaust is fully welded, but there's still play coming from the downpipe, because the downpipe is a V-band clamp and the flange is broke in spots, so it allows that downpipe to move around. So that's a big part of why we're doing all these exhaust hangers, is we want it all to stay in place. But something else is, if you notice, there's a very small gap between the part that goes up on this clamp, or this little bracket I made. So we're going to have to cut that off, because it looks like it's going to bottom out practically immediately on the bed rail here. So we're going to take it back out, we're going to chop this off, we're going to probably pull this off, we're going to cut off these tacks we put in and pull this clamp forward just a little more. Well, actually, we're not. We're going to just weld it where it's at, because I like the angle of the exhaust tip. It's pushing it this direction towards the passenger rear. So the exhaust is getting a little bit of a kick out, getting it away from the rear diff. So that's going to help improve that. That'll help keep the heat off of the rear diff. We've got it moved away from the sway bar link mount, which I also talked about. And from the looks of things, the tighter I get this, the better it's going to be. The only thing I'm probably going to do is try to get it to rotate a little more. And after that, I should be able to bolt it up and tighten that band clamp back on, and we'll be in good shape. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and get this weld. What we're going to do is just do, I don't know, probably a small weld here on the front and the back of each side of these tabs. And that should be more than enough. And that should be more than enough for what we're doing. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Yeah, I got it running a little too hot. Don't hate too much. It'll be alright. Well, shoot, I completely missed with that one. I never said I was professional. Alright, now that should be more than enough to hold it. So I'm going to get this cleaned up. I'm going to wire wheel it, throw a coat of paint on it just to keep it from rusting out, and then we'll get back under the truck and get it installed. Alright, as far as paint, I'm just going to do a coat of VHT, the flameproof primer, which the VHT stands for very high temp. It's 1300 to 2000 degrees. And I don't know, usually my exhaust temps, at least around the downpipe area, running around 12 to 1300, which I'm surprised I haven't melted a valve yet. I know. So I'm just going to hit it with this high temp primer just to keep it from rusting out. And that should be good enough. I just figured I'd fill y'all in. This high temp primer, any parts store in America you can get it, and it's pretty good stuff. You can get it in primer, different colored paints, metallics, hammered. They have it in a lot of different shapes and sizes. So we've got it welded up, painted up. We're gonna get it installed. So for the last time, I'm sliding this exhaust pipe back up and on. And now we're gonna kind of adjust the way that bracket's hanging, because I want to kick it at an angle, as you remember. Alright, so now that we got that, we're gonna slide that back up and through it. We're gonna get our lock washer and our nut, which we've already done some blue Loctite on this, which I hope blue Loctite is enough. So now what we're going to do is start threading on the nut. And this is obviously going to be 100% adjustable. We'll be able to, if I ever want to change the way the exhaust is riding, I can tighten it up or loosen it. And that'll help change the way this tip hangs. But for now, we're just going to tighten it up until I'm satisfied with the way it's sitting or hanging. Odds are I'm gonna have to do a jam nut on this, which a jam nut is where you take a second nut and you just tighten it up against that first one, and then you I guess the best way to put it is you kind of interlock them. Once they're side by side, you screw them opposite directions. Tighten one, loosen the other, and it causes them to tighten against each other. And I guess in other words, just get stuck. Hence, jam nut. So, as you can see, we've got the exhaust where we want it. You can see how the mount's kind of pulling, and that's what I wanted. I wanted it to pull the exhaust forward. So, I guess the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to keep tightening this up. Then I'm going to tighten up that band clamp on down, and that'll put us right back where we wanted to be. All right, as you can see, I've got it all set up the way I wanted. Got the band clamp back on, which I cranked the poo out of it. That's why it looks like that. Just where I've got it all solid and everything else is welded, I decided I would try to make that joint a little stiffer or a little tighter. But as you see, we got it all back on. It's in. And as of right now, I'm happy with it. I still haven't gotten a chance to test it, but I'm sure it's going to be fine because it was fine with the ratchet strap. But obviously, a ratchet strap isn't a permanent fix. So, as you can see, I'm still under the truck. I just figured I'd go ahead and finish out this video. But this is Let's Do Something, where we do a little something all the time. And this time, we got the exhaust mount cleaned up and fixed up a little bit. So, hopefully, we can get y'all to come back some more and look forward to more videos, because I'm going to continue putting them out. And hopefully you'll like, comment, subscribe, and possibly share. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Have a good one.